Hey world, my name is Keith and I host two channels here on YouTube. My main channel, Nerdy Keith, which is my nerd culture channel, and my secondary channel, which is this channel right here, Keith's Universe, where I tend to talk about topics related to human rights and animal rights activism. So today I want to slightly follow on from the topic of my previous video on this channel. Of course, my previous video was a video response to Miss Katie of That Vegan Teacher and why I, as an ethical vegan, don't agree with her particular approach to activism. This video is about intersectionality, or rather pro-intersectionality, and from a vegan perspective. So this channel has pretty much evolved into a pro-intersectionality channel, but what exactly does that mean? Well, the term itself, intersectional, was originally coined all the way back in 1989 by the lawyer and civil rights activist Kimberlé Crenshaw. This term was coined as a framework in order to describe the relationships between race, gender, and class and other individual characteristics and how they overlap and intersect. More notably, the overlapping discrimination between gender discrimination and also racial discrimination. It should be noted that it is my opinion and the opinion of so many other individuals who are not persons of color that it's not really appropriate as white people to assign the label of intersectional upon ourselves. So instead, we tend to opt for the term pro-intersectional. To do otherwise would be totally ignoring the history of this term and why it was originally coined. So by calling myself pro-intersectional, I am embracing the core message of intersectionality, while at the same time I am showing respect for Kimberlé Crenshaw and all of the amazing advocacy that she has done over the last many years. And I'm also acknowledging that this term was originally coined to tackle discrimination directed towards those who are persons of color and who are also women and discriminated on the basis of gender. What I want to accomplish with this channel is to promote a sense of human equality and ethical treatment towards all animals alongside each other. I guess you could say I'm attempting to combine humanism with veganism. You might even say that I want to explore an entire universe of civil rights activism. What I have noticed when looking at how human beings discriminate against other human beings and comparing that with how we oppress other animals, one critical component exists in all forms of oppression, and that component is control. Historically speaking, human beings regrettably have a track record of controlling others for personal gain, for power, for money, and even for a sense of self-entitlement. For centuries, human beings have been inflicting this form of control upon other members of the human race, and we've been doing this for centuries to other animals as well, and in fact, we still do. Going back to the self-entitlement concept and why this mentality is used to discriminate against other members of the human race and why we use this to discriminate and mistreat other animals. Ego totally plays a huge role to why oppression exists. It seems to me that if someone can justify dominating a smaller creature, that this can and does lead to dominating other creatures, until we are left with a never-ending cycle of sadistic and domineering behavior. It's almost like a thought frame that pushes the envelope, and every time the envelope is pushed, it creates a very blurry line. And this blurry line is supposed to be a moral code to where respect for others starts and where it ends. But while there is indeed a relationship, a connection, an intersection of cruelty and oppression when it comes to how we mistreat other members of the human race, other persons of minorities, and indeed how we mistreat other animals, there's certainly a connection there to be made. I think we also need to be mindful and very careful when we are delving into the area of correlations and direct and perhaps false equivalencies. Yes, we should still point out the similarities so we can understand what's under the hood, so to speak. What's under the hood of the mind of the oppressor. But we also should take into account that certain events in history have certain historical implications, have certain cultural implications, have certain cultural meanings, and in many cases account for a particular struggle one minority or indeed many minorities have had to strive to overcome, or indeed are still striving to overcome. So it is my particular view that I don't think it is helpful or indeed accurate in many cases to say that X, Y, or Z event, historical event, is exactly how we are treating pigs, cows, chickens, etc. The politics involved in historical oppression amongst other humans towards other humans is unique, and so are the cultures involved very unique. There is also the point from a humanist perspective that by discriminating against other human beings, there is also a sense of betrayal against our own kind. So it's very much a balancing act of looking at both forms of oppression, acknowledging the connections, acknowledging the similarities, but also acknowledging that there are unique differences and being respectful to their unique aspects. So while there is certainly a connection of oppression between how humans are treated and how other animals are treated, I would argue that that connection should go both ways. Human beings have the potential to be compassionate towards other human beings. A lot of the time, this starts off with our own immediate family, and over time, as time goes on, we expand this to wider groups, to a wider circle of friends, to the town you live in, to the country you live in, to, if you're a humanist, to, in fact, all human beings. And so, with that said, if we can have the capacity and the potential to be compassionate towards a larger sense of humanity, I think we can extend that even more so and be compassionate to all living creatures, to be compassionate towards the animals, all animals. If there is indeed a connection between how we mistreated other members of our own race, the human race, and how we mistreat other animals, then that is more of a reason to why veganism and humanism should meet. It is my view that there is a lot of similarities between the two philosophies, therefore a lot of connection and intersection. So I think that the two concepts can definitely be combined together. All forms of oppression, discrimination, mistreatment should always be challenged, questioned, brought to light, and of course discussed in a very tactful yet accessible form of language. Everyone, until next time, thank you very much for watching, and freedom, peace, and love to all members of the human race and other species and unknown species that may exist outside this world. Thank you for watching.